Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's at-home full body Pilates workout. In today's routine, we're going to be sculpting our entire bodies. We're going to be warming up and cooling down. We're going to be working our arms, abs, glutes, and thighs. For some of the upper body moves and the lower body moves, I'm going to be using a set of ankle weights. These are totally optional. You can do all the lower body work without any weight at all. And if you'd prefer to do the upper body work weightless, that's fine too. Just make sure that you are moving with good form at whatever weight you are using. Another option for some of the upper body moves is to use a small set of hand weights. So just work with what you've got. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and get right into our warm up. So I've just placed the ankle weights off to the side because we're not going to need them initially. So let's move into an all fours position and start preparing the body for movement. So the wrists are below the shoulders, the knees are below the hips. We're going to push the mat away, dropping the crown of the head, scooping the belly in, and then exhale, arch the spine, gaze comes up. Inhale, tuck the tailbone round through the spine, and then arch and look up, rolling your shoulders down away from your ears. So push the mat away, create a lot of space between the vertebra, and then arch, bringing the gaze up, rolling the shoulders down and back. Let's take one more like this, moving into your arch, and then bringing the spine back to neutral. From here, we're going to take the knees nice and wide, big toes come together. We're going to sit back on the heels, and then we're going to bend the elbows and come up. Oop, losing my microphone there. Let's try that again. We're going to come back. We're going to bend at the elbows and come up with the spine arched, and then round back, sitting back on the heels. So we're arching as we come up, and we're rounding as we send the hips back toward the heels. Good. Arch and lift, round and push back toward the heels. Should feel really good on your spine as you move between the two positions, really exaggerating the arch and the round. Good. Inhaling and exhaling, pushing back into your child's pose for 3. And 2, push the mat away, scoop belly in. And last 1. And stretch back into your downward dog. Really relax into the stretch. Lengthen through the shoulders and the arms and the fingers. Lowering your forehead down to the mat. And really get into that Pilates breath here. Breathing in through the nose, filling the back of the rib cage. And exhaling slowly through the mouth, letting that rib cage deflate. Nicely done. We're going to walk the hands up, bringing ourselves into a kneeling position. You can stay kneeling for this, or you can sit up nice and tall. We're going to lift the arms up, reach for the ceiling, reach a little bit higher, lengthening through the spine, and then twist to the right, looking back over right shoulder, bring it up, and twist the left, looking out over left shoulder. Now your aim here, as we rotate from side to side, is to really stay nice and tall through the spine. Try not to let the spine arch. Good. Inhale and exhale, keeping that chin parallel with the floor, keeping the head rested on top of the shoulders. Good, so we don't want to let that head come forward. We want to keep the crown of the head elevated up toward the ceiling. Let's go one more. Reach and stretch, getting a nice rotation in the spine. Bring the hands to center. Place them down on the mat, curl the toes, and lift the hips, coming into your downward dog. Breathing deeply here. Let's lift up onto the toes, nice and high. Bend the knees as much as you need to as you lower heels down toward the mat. Scoop belly in, lift hips a bit higher. Lift the heels and lower. Inhale, lift, nice flat back. Exhale, lower the heels, stretching and warming up the calves. Lift and lower. For 4, let your head hang between your shoulders. 3, lengthening through the spine. 2, scoop belly in as you invite heels down to the mat. And last one. Lower those heels, really stretch it out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees down to the floor. Nicely done. Now from here, we're going to lower the left forearm down to the mat, lengthen through the spine. We're going to take the right leg out and onto the side. We're going to lift and lower, lift and lower. So we're mobilizing the hip on this right side, finding a lot of length, plugging belly into the spine and keeping the spine nice and long. Those shoulders are down away from the ears. Good. Now as you get comfortable with this movement, I want you to really start engaging the core every time you breathe out to lift, squeezing the glutes and contracting the thigh and the calf muscles. Let's go 3 and 2 and 1. Nicely done. Lower the knee down, switch sides, drop your right forearm down to the floor, extend your left leg out on a diagonal. Get nice and long through the spine, shoulders roll down away from your ears. Inhale, tap the toe down, exhale to lift. Really engaging the core every time you lift the leg, pointing through the toes so that all the leg muscles are switched on. For 4, 3, get a lot of length, mobilizing the hips. And 1, amazing work. Return to your all fours position. We're gonna curl the toes and pike up into downward dog once more. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Coming forward into a plank, holding in high plank with your wrists below your shoulders, flexing through those heels, belly button plugged in, nice and broad across those shoulders. Hold it here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You have the option here, bending and lowering down in plank or lowering your knees to the mat for a little bit less of a challenge as we ease all the way down. Nicely done. Okay, from here we're gonna come onto our backs and we're gonna get into the workout. We're gonna start off by warming up the abdominal wall and going into some pelvic tilts. So I'd like you to separate your legs so that they are hip distance apart, where the spine is in neutral, meaning you've got that little bit of space between your lower back and the mat. I'd like you to place your hands on your abdomen, nice and flat, and we're going to inhale, relax the abdominal wall, and as we exhale, we're going to tilt the pelvis back and press the low back into the mat. Inhale, let the pelvis tilt forward slightly. It's a tiny range of movement. And exhale, tilt the pelvis back, contract those lower abs in as you flatten your lower back down to the floor. So inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, slight tilt, and exhale, tilt it back, contracting your belly button down away from the ceiling toward the mat. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, tilt forward, relax the abdominals. And as you exhale and tilt back, I really want you to draw your abs in as you flatten low back. So keep moving on the breath. Quite often pelvic tilts are only included in beginners Pilates workouts, but it's a really good way to start off your ab work because it helps you connect with the Pilates breath and that abdominal engagement that you're going to need and want as you work your core. It's also really nice on the low back. So as you tilt the pelvis back, you're engaging your core and pressing your low back into the mat. It's a great thing to do if you're watching TV, if your lower back is hurting, you could just lay on the floor and move through these pelvic tilts. And it feels really good. Let's go 2, engage the core, and last 1. Nice work. Now, we're gonna keep that pelvis tilted back. We're taking the hands behind the head, elbows are nice and wide, and we're lifting up into a crunch. Inhale to lower, exhale, lift up. Now, if you still want a little bit of feedback to make sure that you're really engaging your core, you can take your right hand and place it down on your abdominals, supporting your head with your left hand to really make sure you're still contracting your belly button down towards your spine with every lift. Good. That feedback with your hand on your abs can sometimes be really helpful as a reminder of what you need to be doing. So throughout the entire range of exhale, we're pulling belly button into spine. Good. Flattening that abdominal wall. Relaxing it as we lower. For 2, lift up a little higher through those shoulders. And last one, take both hands behind your head now. Bring your legs into tabletop, but glue the shins and the thighs and the inside of the feet together. Lower and lift. Inhale and exhale. Now, if it's really hard to keep your lower back pressing down on the mat as you lift up, bring your knees in a little bit closer towards your chest. Sometimes that helps. Amazing work. Tightening abdominal wall and lifting the pelvic floor with every crunch. Building up the intensity for 3 and 2. Lower with control. And last one, nicely done. Now from here, legs are in tabletop, legs are squeezing together. We're gonna inhale. And as we exhale, we're gonna lift, straightening one leg and then lower, lift, straighten the other. So the knees are glued together. We're curling and crunching up toward the thighs as we straighten, alternating legs up toward the ceiling. Good. If this is too much with the crunch, you can keep head, neck, and shoulders lowered and just focus on flattening that abdominal wall every time you extend a leg up. Good. Otherwise, keep going with those crunches. For 3 and 2, really straighten that leg, stretching the leg as you do so. Nice work. Now from here, we're gonna bring both legs up together, squeezing them up together as we go. We're inhaling and we're exhaling to curl and crunch up. Lower, bend at the knees and lift, straighten the legs. So I really want you to point through the toes, lift the head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat as you move between the 2 positions. This is really intense on your lower back. You can always take your hands on either side of your tailbone and again, just really focus on that core engagement as you lift and lower the legs. Good. We've got 3. Stick with it, you're doing great. And 2. And final 1. Amazing work. Now we're gonna go into some tabletop expansions. You've got a couple of options here. So option 1, you're coming up into your crunch and you're expanding one leg out long, the other leg high, back together, and then opposite leg high and the other low, back to tabletop. If that's really too much for you to come up into that crunch as you do so, you also have the option of coming up on your forearms like so. So choosing which position works best for you, either down and crunching up or propping yourself up on your forearms as you alternate which leg lifts toward the ceiling and which leg is parallel with the mat. Now, if you want to step up the intensity a little bit more, you can take the hands overhead and then bring them down to the sides as you expand those legs. You're doing great. Let's go 5, 4, lift up a bit higher through those shoulders. 3, abs are working so hard. 2, nice work. And final 1, hold it here. Take a hold of the back of your leg. You can either hold on to your calf or your thigh, whatever you can reach, And we're gonna go into our single leg stretch. Now, if it's too much with the legs straight, you can take your hands behind your thigh and move with legs bent. Again, if it's too much with head, neck, and shoulders lifted, you can lower them down to the mat. We're inhaling to switch and we're exhaling to draw the leg in toward the chest, pointing and lengthening through the toes. As we do so, inhale to switch, exhale, flatten your abdominal wall as you pull leg in. For 3, we got a little rest coming up, stick with it. 2 and 1, amazing. Bring your knees in towards your chest and just hug them in close. Take a moment here to regulate the breath. Breathing deeply in through the nose and slowly exhaling through the mouth. Wow, that was really challenging. Felt it deep in those core muscles. I hope you did too. We're now going to move into our double leg stretch. So options, you're either extending arms and legs out with your head, neck, and shoulders down on the mat, or you're peeling up into your crunch, holding it here as you bring arms and legs in and out. Inhale, extend. Exhale, circle the knees and the arms back in. Inhale, legs are squeezing together. Exhale, bring them in. Inhale and exhale. If you want, you can do a couple reps with head, neck, and shoulders down, giving them a rest. And then maybe every third one or so you can come up. Good, to really challenge yourself. Inhaling, and as you exhale, you're pulling everything in nice and tight. Drawing your belly button in, lifting through your pelvic floor, creating a nice tight seam running up the middle of the body. For 2, and last 1, bring it in. Now for a little bit of a challenge, we're gonna flutter the legs as we're extended. So we're going to inhale, come out, 1, 2, 3, and bring it back in. Out, 1, 2, 3, together, and back in. 1, 2, 3, together, and in. Good. Nice. Kick those legs back together and bring them in. Amazing work. 2 more sets. Last 2. And final 1. Good. Now for our final challenge in this position, we're going to bring the arms and the legs out and flutter the legs. If it's too much with arms, keep your hands behind your head like so. So we're extending the legs out long and beginning those flutter kicks. You want more challenge? Take the arms overhead. Ooh, I'm putting my hands back behind my head. I need that support. Nice work. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Lift up a little higher into your crunch. 2 and 1. Legs together. Hand over right hand over right knee, left hand over left knee, and circle those knees in opposite directions. Regulating that breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. For 2 and 1. Bring the knees together. Take your hands behind your thighs and roll up into a seated position. Okay, amazing work with that. Now we're gonna get into some oblique work, and then we're gonna get into our upper body work as well. So I would like you to start off with your hands down on the mat. We're gonna lower the left forearm down to the floor. We're gonna bring the right leg out, just like we did in our warm-up, out in a diagonal. But now we're really gonna focus on the oblique. So we're gonna stretch the leg out long, not too high, and bring it in as we exhale. So we're inhaling to extend. Exhale, I want you to really scoop your belly in and tighten the waistline. We're focusing on those obliques as we bring that knee in. Inhale and exhale. Really cinch that waistline in. Stretch long so you're still getting a little bit of leg and glute action in here too. Inhale, extend, exhale, tighten your waistline. For 3 and 2, keep a nice long neck. And last 1, amazing work. Lower that leg. Now from here, we're gonna move into a plank position. Easier option, you're keeping your left knee down on the floor and you're bringing that right knee in and out. For the harder version, we're going into full plank and doing that same movement. Let's go over to the right. Tapping knee and elbow together. Let's go 7, 6, tapping knee to the outside of the elbow if you can to really get deep into those obliques. 4, nice flat line with the body. 3, try not to let your bum lift. 2, and 1, amazing, lower your knees. Great, let's switch sides. So lower your right forearm down to the floor. We're gonna take the left leg up and out and then tap it in and extend. Tap it in, extend. So remember, we're really focusing on breathing out and pulling the navel up toward the spine every time we crunch it in. Good, nice long relaxed neck. Feeling really powerful here. For 4, lift abdominal wall. 3, tighten those obliques. 2, and 1, amazing, lower the leg. Again, you can keep that right knee down on the floor for the easier option, or we're coming up into our high plank, shoulders above wrists, and bringing that left knee to the outside of left elbow. Woo. Verse 7, 6, working hard. 5, 4, nice flat line with the body. 3, broad shoulders. 2, and 1, amazing, lower your knees. Now from here, we're gonna come down onto our forearms and go into some hip dips here to really focus on those obliques. So coming down onto the forearms, we want our elbows below our shoulders. Options, you can keep your knees down on the mat as you move up from side to side, scooping belly in as you tap, alternating hips down to the mat. Harder version, we're coming into our full low plank, creating a flat line with the body, arching over to one side, lifting up and over to the other. Get moving, knees down or up. Inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to scoop your lower abs in. Really challenge yourself by bringing your hip right down to the mat and then picking it right back up. Scooping in the abs as you do so. 9, 8, 7, squeeze those abs. 5, 4, abs in. 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. Lower your knees down to the mat. Take them nice and wide. And push it back into child's pose. Whew, that was intense. Inhale here and exhale. I'd like you to walk your right hand over to the right side of your mat. Try to keep your hips even and level as you cross over. Placing your left hand on top of your right and just stretching through the side body. For 3, and 2, and 1. Come back to center. Walk your left hand over to the left. Lengthen and cover it with your right hand. Keeping those hips even. Try not to let that right hip lift up too high. We want to really feel that stretch from the hip all the way through the side body for 3, and 2, and 1. Nice work. Bring yourself up to a kneeling position. I'm going to use my Ankle weights now. Like I said, you can do the work without any weight. So if you're moving with me without weight, you're using long fingers, or you can hold on to a small set of hand weights. I'd recommend using light ones. You have the option, if you're using ankle weights, to cuff them over your hand like so, or to put them around your wrists. I'm going to take them just around my hands, and we're gonna get right into our upper body work. So we already sort of warmed up our upper body with that oblique work that we just did. So we should be good to go. Okay, we're going to bring the arms up overhead. We're gonna pull the elbows down. Then we're gonna lift, lengthen, bring the hands down to the thighs, lift up and pull down. Up, down, lift, and pull elbows down by the sides. So moving through this sequence, you have the option of kneeling like I am, or sitting with your legs crossed, or standing up. So if you are stood up, your feet should be hip distance apart. And no matter what position you're in, you really want to make sure that your vertebrae are stacked one on top of the other, your chin is parallel with the floor, and your gaze is straight ahead. Good, growing up really nice and tall. Try not to lean back or forward. Good, we're engaging the core as well, which will help with that posture. Pulling down, lifting, and as you press those weights down or those hands down, I really want you to move with resistance. So imagine you're pushing down against something that's giving resistance, like thick mud or wet cement. Good. You're really moving your arms with purpose. Abs engaged. It's crazy how fast this work builds up and it starts to burn. Good. Let's go 3. We're working hard. And 2. And final 1. And pull it down. Nice work. Now from here, I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see properly. I'm going to take the elbows nice and wide, palms facing forward, and we're going to just circle the elbows back. Again, you'll feel this even if you're not holding on to weights. I want you to lift the chin so it's parallel with the floor. Don't let the chin drop. And again, even though we're circling back, we don't want to arch back. So we really want to be up nice and tall, working deep into those shoulders and those upper back muscles here. Nice work. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Now from here, we're going to lift the right arm, lift the left arm, and repeat. So we're just holding it here, and we're sort of pedaling or swimming in the air. We've got nice, straight, strong arms. Good. Core is engaged. Again, really moving with resistance as you push the hands down and pull them back up. Think about pushing and pulling. Really making it count. Nice long neck here. Try not to let those shoulders bunch up by the ears as you move through this sequence. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Pull back on the right side. Lift and lower. Pull back, lift and lower. So notice I'm keeping the left hand out at shoulder height. Good. For 5, keep hips facing forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Hold the right arm steady and long. Pull back, lift and lower. Pull back, lift and lower. Light, nice long neck. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. Tight core. Let's go 4, 3, you're doing amazing. 2, and 1. Lower down. Whew. Burning through those arms. Okay, from here, we're gonna get down into an all fours position. You can take the weight off your left hand if that's more comfortable. I'm positioning the left hand so it's below left shoulder, and I am turning the right palm so it's facing up toward the ceiling. Now we want to keep those shoulders square with the mat. Belly is plugged in. Shoulders are level. I'm going to lift the back of the arm up toward the ceiling, tapping fingertips down toward the mat, and then lowering and then lifting them right back up. So again, we want a nice straight arm here, a nice long spine, gazes down on the floor. Squeeze the back of the arm, really focusing on the triceps with every lift for 8, 7, 6. Make sure you're not lifting up too high on that right side. You want that right shoulder level with the left. 2 and 1. Now we're going to hold it here at torso height. Lengthen through those fingers and pulse. Little controlled pulses, pulsing that palm up toward the ceiling. Nice work. Plug belly in toward the spine. I know it's tough, but you're doing amazingly well. Let's go. 10, 9, 8. Keep that arm strong and straight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift an inch higher, and we're holding it here. Squeeze the back of the arm. Lift a bit higher. Keep those shoulders level. Last 10, 9, 8. Little higher. 7, 6, 5. Squeeze those triceps. 2 and 1. Lower down. Nice work. Hope you felt it in the back of that arm. We're now going to switch sides. So positioning your right wrist so it's below the right shoulder. Any slumping here you want to correct by gently pushing the mat away. Level out those shoulders, plug your navel in, and extend the arm out long. Palm facing up toward the ceiling. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Focusing our mind and our attention on those left triceps now. Nice strong straight arm. Pumping that arm up toward the ceiling. Give it a lot of energy. Good. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Lift the arm up to torso height. Level out those shoulders. Quick little pulses here. Nice, strong, straight arm. Pumping the back of the arm and the palm up toward the ceiling. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and hold. Lift the arm a couple inches. Lengthen through those fingers. Squeeze the back of the arm. Breathe through it. I know it's tough. Lift a little higher if you can. Good job. Let's go. 10. Lift a little higher. 9, 8, 7. Squeeze the back of the arm. 5, 4, 3. Little higher. 2 and 1. Whew. That was tough. Take your weights off for a moment. And let's just roll out our shoulders. Melting away tension for 3 and 2 and 1. Nice work. Okay, to finish off, I want to really make sure that we've targeted our biceps. Finish off with our upper body work, that is. We still have our lower body work to go. So we're going to lift the arms up again at shoulder height, bend at the elbows and straighten. Bend at the elbows and straighten. So if you're holding on to little weights, you're pulling those weights or those fists back towards your shoulders. With or without weights, I really want you to focus on contracting those biceps. as you bend those elbows. Good. Keeping the arms at shoulder height. Good. For 4, 3, nice long neck. 2, and 1. Lower the elbows. Lock the upper arms in toward the side of the body, and we're going to pulse the palms or the fists up toward the shoulders, keeping the tension on those biceps. So if you're using super lightweight like me, you really need to focus on that mind-muscle connection. So you're really locking those elbows in close towards you. You're keeping the tension on those biceps. You're squeezing those biceps as you pulse up. Nice tight core. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Nice work. Now you can turn and face me, or you can stay facing in that direction. We're going to open up to the sides. So the arms are down, upper arms are locked in toward the side of the body. And going into those bicep curls again. We're not totally straightening the arm. We're keeping them slightly bent, and then we're bringing them right back toward the shoulders. So again, keeping that tension on the biceps is what is key here. Mind-muscle connection. Lots of repetitions with this light weight. Good. Last 10, 9, 8, squeeze. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Nice work. Okay, now we're going to switch our focus to our lower body muscles. So I'm going to use my ankle weights on my ankles. Again, totally optional. All of this work is going to be effective and challenging without any weight at all. So don't feel bad if you're not adding the weight. You're still going to get in a great workout. Okay, we're going to start off in a side lying position. I'm going to stretch the legs out long, propping my head up on my hand or on outstretched arm, whatever's more comfortable for you. We want to really set ourselves up for success here, so we're stacking our hips. We have our hand down here on the mat, and the lower body is aligned and parallel. We're going to lift the top leg and lower. Lift and lower. So just starting off really nice and simple with some leg lifts, but we're again focusing on the muscles that we're using. So we're focusing on pointing hard through the toes so that the calf muscles are switched on, squeezing and engaging our quads, and really utilizing the hips and the glutes as we lift and lower that leg. Good. Lift and lower. Nice long relaxed neck. Good work. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold at the top of the lift, and now we're going to flex the foot. Lower, pause at hip height, and lift. Lower and lift. Slow. Good. Pausing at hip height and then lifting that leg straight up while keeping the foot flexed. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now my toes are turned slightly up. I'd like you to do the same if they aren't already. Pull the toes back toward the shin. Hold here, and we're going to pulse. Pulsing those toes up toward the ceiling, lengthening through that heel. Really plug navel in. If you're losing stability, bend that lower leg. Just hold it here. Pulsing. Amazing work. I know it's tough. Stick with it. Relax that neck. Engage that core for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, and now point. If that top hip has rolled back at all, stack it on top of the lower hip, and we're going into some basketball-sized circles, 10 in each direction. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You're doing so well. 2 and 1. Hold and reverse directions with those circles. Breathe through it. I know it's tough, especially with those ankle weights on. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Nice work. So that was my right leg that I had on top. Whatever leg you had on top, bring it into a bridge, either in front or behind the body. I'm going to put mine in front. That's more comfortable for me. And I'm going to lift up that lower leg, and I'm going to start lifting and lowering that lower leg up toward the ceiling, squeezing the inner thigh as we do so. Working those inner thigh muscles, really squeezing the thigh at the top of every lift. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, flex the foot. This time we're going to turn the toes slightly down and pulse. Good work. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. We're going to do 5 circles in each direction going forward. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep that lower leg lifted, and 1. Reverse directions for 5, 4. Squeeze inner thigh muscles. 2, and 1. Relax it down. Oh my gosh, that was really tough. Okay, good work. We worked our inner thighs, our outer thighs, our calves, hips, and glutes from that position, and we're going to do the same on the other side before moving into an all fours to really target the gluteus maximus muscles. So right now we're kind of working that side booty, gluteus medius muscles, those hips and thighs. So let's straighten out nice and long, get comfortable on the side body, point through the toes, lift and lower with control. Oh, I can really feel that. Those inner thigh muscles that I just worked. Good, nice tight core, nice long relaxed neck. Lifting and lowering. Pointing hard through the toes and switching all those lower body muscles on this left side for 2 and 1. Hold it there, flex, lower to hip height, and lift. Good, try to turn the toes up toward the ceiling if you can. Keep that foot flexed. Good, pausing at hip height. Keep that leg nice and straight. For 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. We're going into those pulses. You want more stability? Bend that lower leg. Really turn those toes up toward the ceiling. Keep pulling them back toward the shin at the same time. Woo. Good work. It's tough, but it's effective. You're doing great. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, point the toes, stack that hip if it's rolled back at all, and let's start circling. 4, 5, 6, 7, lengthening out from the hip all the way out through the big toe. And hold, reverse. Circling backwards. 4, 5, 6, plug belly in. 9 and 10. Good job. Lower down. Make the bridge either in front or behind the body. Lift that lower leg. We're really switching on the inner thigh as we lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. Squeeze the inner thigh, particularly at the top of the lift. You really want to engage. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Flex the foot. Turn the toes down this time, and little pulses up. Good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Point the toe. Circle forwards for 5, 4, 3. Relax the neck. Engage the core. And 1. Reverse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Nice work. Amazing. Now from here, we're going to move into an all fours position. So I had worked my right side first. So I'm going to go back onto the right side, or to focus on the gluteus maximus muscles. So our wrists are below our shoulders, our knees are below our hips. Any curvature in the lumbar spine, I want you to slightly tuck your tailbone to sort it out. We want a nice neutral lower back and a nice engaged core. We are extending the right leg out long, making sure the hips are square with the mat, lifting and lowering, squeezing the bum, and engaging the core with every breath out and every lift. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold it here. Now from here, we're going to flex the foot, lifting and lowering. Plugging navel in. Pushing mat away so you're nice and broad across the shoulders. Last 5, 4, keep your hips square with the mat, 2, and 1. Nice work. Now we're going to stretch the arms out long, lift the leg higher, lengthen through the spine, and we're going to attempt to draw circles in the air with that big toe. So they might be a bit wobbly, but that's okay. We're circling in one direction. Good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Lift that leg a little higher. And 1. Now we're going to reverse directions, circling in the opposite direction. Navel is plugged in. Lower back is protected. Lift the leg a little higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold at the top of the lift and pulse. 20 pulses to finish off on this side. You can do it. Lift leg a little higher. Plug navel in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg down. Take the knees nice and wide and sink back into a child's pose. Breathing deeply here. In through the nose and out through the mouth for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Now we're going to elbow crack, do the other side. So I'm going to come down onto my hands. Wrists are below the shoulders. We're extending that left leg out long and going into our leg lifts. Squeezing the bum as we lift that leg. Nicely done. Really engaging those glutes. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keeping the hips square with the mat. Core is engaged. Flex the foot. Lifting that heel up toward the ceiling. Keep your shoulders nice and broad. Try not to collapse across your shoulders. Good. You're doing so well. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Stretch your legs out long, or your arms out long. Lift your leg up nice and high, a little higher if you can, and start circling. Mine are quite wobbly little circles, but I'm feeling it in those glutes and thighs, so that's the important thing. Lift the leg a bit higher if you can. 3, 2, and 1. Circle in the opposite direction. 7, 6, 5, little higher. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. 20 pulses up. Square your hips with the mat. Keep pulsing. You've got this. Amazing work. Keep it up. Little higher for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Whew. Glutes on fire. Take the knees nice and wide. Keep your hips elevated and stretch it out in puppy pose. I want you to take a nice deep inhale in through the nose and slowly exhale through pursed lips. Inhale and exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can bring yourself up to a seated position. Remove your ankle weights if you're using them or if you've used them. And now it is time for our very much needed and well-deserved cool down and stretch. So I'd like you to move down onto your back. Get nice and comfortable here. We're gonna cross the right leg over the left. Interlace the fingers, take them behind the left thigh. Hug left knee in. You can gently press your right elbow into the inside of your right thigh just to turn that knee out a little bit more so you feel that even more deeply in the hip. Try to connect your lower back with the mat. Really feel that nice deep stretch in the lumbar spine as well as the hips and the glutes. Hug it in a bit closer for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Left leg over right. Interlace your fingers, take them behind your right thigh and hug that knee in. Pressing the low back down onto the mat. Gently pressing that left elbow into the inside of the left thigh if that feels comfortable. Enjoying that extra opening in the hip as we stretch out the glutes. Try to keep your shoulders as relaxed as possible and hold it here. A little closer and toward the chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. I'd like you to bring both knees in toward your chest. Grab a hold of the bottoms of your feet, the outside of your feet, and we're just going to stretch it out in happy baby. So the feet are flat. Imagining you could walk on the ceiling from this position, really pulling your knees in toward your armpits or down toward the mat. Now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and stretch out the inner thighs. If it's more comfortable, you can do that from a seated position. If you'd prefer to do a seated butterfly stretch, please feel free. I quite like doing it from this position sometimes because it really allows me to connect my tailbone with the mat and feel that stretch deep into the spine, the lower back, as I stretch out the inner thighs. Hug those feet in a little bit closer to the midline of the body and hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your feet down to the floor. Use your hands to help you. Come into a seated position. Sit up really nice and tall. Lift hands toward the ceiling. Stack the vertebra one on top of the other. Deep inhale here. And exhale, fold over your lower body. Coming into a nice deep back body stretch. Breathing deeply here. Try to keep your legs as straight as possible. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, pull your belly button a little bit closer and toward your spine, creating more space so you can fold over a little bit more deeply into your stretch. For 5, 4, relax your head, neck, and shoulders. 2, and 1. Lift up. From here, I'm going to bring my right foot in toward the left thigh. I'm going to sit up nice and tall, stretch and lengthen, and then fold over to the left side, keeping the right bum cheek down on the floor.
Getting a really nice deep side body stretch. Keep trying to lower that right hip or that right bum cheek down toward the mat so you feel the stretch deep into your sort of lower side body here. Feels really good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift up. From here, we're going to switch sides. Sit up nice and tall. Reach and lengthen, and then fold over to your right side. Again, keeping your left hip lowered, your left bum cheek down on the floor. Lower that left bum cheek a little bit closer down toward the mat, sort of anchoring it down so you feel that deep lower side body stretch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elevate back up. From here, we're gonna sit with our legs crossed and we're gonna stretch out those upper body muscles. So we're gonna start by bringing the arms back and then crossing one in front of the other, alternating which arm comes on top, crossing them over in the air, really pulling back through those shoulders and opening up through the chest between each crossover for 3 and 2 and 1. Now I'd like you to cross your left arm over the body, applying a little bit of pressure to the back of the arm to stretch deep into the shoulder. A little bit more pressure if that feels comfortable, just to deepen the stretch. Again, sitting up nice and tall for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch the arms out. Cross your right arm over, stretching and lengthening through the back of the arm and deep into those shoulders. Good. Deepening the stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Now from here, I'm going to take my hands on either side. I'm going to lift my right arm up, take it just above my left ear, and just gently pull the right ear toward the left shoulder, toward the right shoulder. Right ear toward right shoulder. Again, pulling is maybe not the right word, just applying a little bit of gentle pressure to the side of the head so that you can really stretch through the side of the neck. Not to the point of pain or discomfort, just so you can really feel a nice stretch from your ears sort of all the way down your shoulder. And if you stretch that left arm out nice and long, you can even lift it and lengthen through the fingers. You'll feel that stretch all the way through the arm as well, all the way down through the fingertips. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Return to center. Stretch those arms out to the side. Lift your left hand up. Place it just above your right ear and draw that left ear down toward your left shoulder. Really enjoying the stretch here. Feels good. So this is a good one if you ever get any sort of cranks in your neck, or if you wake up with a stiff neck after sleep. Just gently ease into it. For 3 and 2 and 1. Nice work. Let's recenter the head. Lift the shoulders up by the ears. Inhale and exhale. Roll them down and back. Good. For 4 and 3 and 2. Melting away tension. And last,
1. Amazing work. You did so well. Thank you so much for joining me for that intense but effective workout. I hope you're feeling super strong and well stretched. I know I am, and I look very much forward to working out with you again next time. See you soon. Bye.